Hello friends, today I will discuss about insulation resistance test of transformer and along with two important parameter, that is DAR, that is dielectric absorption ratio, and PI, that is the polarization index. So why insulation resistance test in power transformer is done? In case of power transformer, we have generally two winding, that is HB winding and LB winding. So insulation exists in between HB winding and LB winding, and in between HB winding to earth, and also in between LB winding to earth. So we have to detect the insulation conditions in between HB winding to earth and also LB winding to earth, and in between HB winding and LB winding by measuring the insulation resistance test of the transformer. From the value of the IR, that is the insulation resistance value, we can interpret the condition of the transformer oil and paper insulation, which is normally used in case of power transformer. So in this diagram, the plot between the insulation resistance test, which is measured in mega ohm, and the time during which the insulation resistance test is measured. That is, the y-axis shows the mega ohm value of the insulation resistance test, and x-axis shows the time duration. So with the increase of the time, if the insulation resistance is increasing, then it is said to be a good insulation. But with the increase of the time, if the insulation resistance test or the value of the IR in terms of mega ohm is remain constant, then the insulation of the transformer is not okay. So there is a clear indication of the presence of the moisture or dirt in the insulations. There are two important parameters related to the insulation resistance test of the transformer. One is DAR, that is dielectric absorption ratio. It is the ratio of the insulation resistance which is measured in 60 seconds to the insulation resistance reading which is measured during 30 seconds. And another parameter is polarization index, that is PI. It is the ratio of the insulation resistance which is measured during 10 minutes to the insulation resistance which is measured during 1 minute. So what are the condition of the insulation which is indicated by the DAR and PI? So in this table, the value for DAR and PI has been shown. For different value of the DAR and PI, we can interpret different condition of the insulation of the transformer. If the value of the PI, that is the insulation resistance which is measured during 10 minutes to the insulation resistance which is measured during 1 minute is less than 1, then the insulation is said to be dangerous. If the value of the DAR in between 1 to 1.25, that is the measured insulation resistance during 60 seconds divided by measured insulation resistance in during 30 seconds, value is within 1 to 1.25, then the insulation is questionable. Again, if the PI value is in between 1 to 2, then it is said to be questionable. For value of the good insulation for the transformer, the DR value should be in between 1.4 to 1.6. Again, for good insulations, the value of the PI should be greater than 1 and should be less than 4. So, for value of the good insulation, the PI value should be in between 2 to 4. Again, if the value of the DAR is greater than 1.6, then the insulation is said to be excellent. In case of PI, if the value is greater than 4, then the insulation of the transformer is said to be excellent. In case of Megger or insulation tester, there exists three terminal. One is G, L, and E. G stand for God terminal, and L stand for line terminal, and E stand for earth terminal. So, if for transformer in between two terminal we want to measure the insulation resistance, then the one terminal which is remain in high voltage is connected to the L terminal, and one terminal which is earth or or low voltage winding is connected to the R terminal. So now we'll discuss about the function of the guard terminal in case of measuring the insulation resistance test. So in case of a transformer, there exist three terminal. One is high voltage terminal, another is low voltage terminal, and another is earth. So 3 is considered as the high voltage terminal or high voltage winding, and 1 is considered as the low voltage terminal or LV terminal, and 2 is considered as the earth terminal. So insulation is exist in between HV winding and LV winding, which is considered as R13. Again, there exists insulation in between high voltage terminal or high voltage winding and earth, which is considered as R23, and there is exist LV terminal or LV winding and earth terminal insulation, which is again considered as R12. So better the higher the value of the insulation resistance, the good condition of the insulation of the transformer. Now for example, we want to measure the insulation resistance in between HV winding and earth. So the connection has been shown in this diagram. So HV winding or HV terminal is connected to the L terminal of the IR tester, and E terminal is connected with the earth. So if we apply the voltage at high voltage terminal, then the leakage current will pass through two paths. One is in between 3 to 2 via the insulation resistance R23, and there is again a parallel path, that is via R13 and R12. So the measured insulation resistance test, insulation resistance will be the parallel combination of R23 and sum of R13 plus R12. So the measured insulation resistance will be lower than that of the R23. So our motive is to measure only the R23, that is the insulation resistance between HV terminal and earth. So by using the guard terminal, we can eliminate the current passing through the parallel path, that is via R13 and R12. So here the connection for the IR measurement for transformer HV winding and earth has been shown in this diagram by using the guard terminal. Since we want to measure the insulation resistance in between HV terminal and earth, so HV terminal is connected in L terminal of the IR tester, and E terminal is connected to the earth, and a guard terminal is connected to the LV terminal or terminal number 1. So in this case, the leakage current which is flow through the parallel path, that is R13 and R12, will be eliminated or not recorded in the insulation tester. So the measured IR value will be is equal to R23, that is the insulation resistance between HV winding and earth. So the measured insulation will be higher than the previous case. Now again, for measurement of the insulation resistance test in between LV winding and earth or LV terminal and earth has been shown in this diagram. In this case, the L terminal is connected to the LV terminal, that is the terminal 1, and earth terminal is connected to the earth. So in order to eliminate the leakage current which is passing through the R13 and R23, we will connect the guard terminal in the high voltage terminal or high voltage winding. So here the insulation resistance which is measured will be R12, that is the insulation resistance between LV terminal and earth. Now again, the measurement of the IR for transformer in between HV winding and LV winding has been shown in this diagram. So in this diagram, the L terminal is connected to the high voltage terminal, and E terminal is connected to the LV terminal or terminal number 1. So in order to avoid the leakage current which is flowing through the parallel path, that is R23 and R12, we will connect the guard terminal to the earth. So here only the insulation resistance between the HV winding and LV winding will be measured, that is the measured value of the IR is R13. So friends, this is how the insulation resistance test of the power transformer is done by using the guard terminal. The value of the insulation resistance test is done for 30 second, 60 second, and also for 10 minutes. And by the this value we can calculate the value of the DAR and PI. And by the value of the DAR and PI we can calculate check the condition of the insulation of the transformer. So friends, if you like my video, then do subscribe my channel and also press bell button for notification of videos to be uploaded in future. Thank you for watching my video.